Hello, welcome to Today in History. My name is Sotonye Fiesimama. Let us roll back the blind to the year 1901, so 119 years ago, and the world was reeling in shock because this painting encapsulates what happened on this day. William McKinley, US President, was fatally shot on this day. He was Republican and the 25th President of the United States from 1897 to 1901. So he was shot by Leon Czolgosz. Okay, I'll spell the name. It's C-Z-O-L-G-O-S-Z. So Czolgosz, I guess. He was an anarchist. And this happened at the Pan-American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. He died 8 days later from gangrene. So the story goes that the president was recovering. People assumed, he was going to survive this, but his condition took a turn for the worse, and he died 8 days later. So that would have been on the 14th of September. He died. So on this day, President William McKinley was fatally shot, as shown in this painting here. It seems to be a day of presidential deaths and assassinations, because there's another one. His name is Hendrik Verwoerd, called the architect of apartheid. As you can see here, South African Prime Minister from 1958 to 1966. On this day, South African Prime Minister Hendrik Verwoerd, who rigorously developed and applied the policy of apartheid, was stabbed to death by a temporary parliamentary messenger who was later ruled insane. I don't usually do this, but this is a picture of the fatally stabbed Prime Minister of South Africa. Let's go back to this other picture so that I try to live with a less than bitter taste, if that makes sense. So that's Hendrik Verwoerd, who was assassinated today by a messenger, a temporary worker who was ruled insane. 1997, on this day, this happened. This was the day that Diana was buried. So a funeral was held. If you remember, she was killed in a car crash alongside her partner, Dodi Al-Fayed, in Paris on the 31st of August, 1997. So I think these pictures here, this collage, encapsulates the events of this day. So, sorely missed still, Diana, Princess of Wales, Princess of our hearts, who died on this day, 1997. No, not died on this day, who was buried on this day, 1997. Died on the 31st of August. You can check out my other video about Diana, which I put up on the 31st of August. Okay, let's move on to the next event of this day, another death. This time, this fantastic singer Luciano Pavarotti died on this day in 2007. He was considered one of the finest bel canto opera singers of the 20th century. He was 71 at the time of his death. Yet another death, this time again, a president. Did mention that today seems to be a day of presidential death, and I wouldn't be surprised if a former president or a president dies today, this year. I'm not predicting anything, but there's a saying that, the best way to predict the future is to look at the past. So don't be surprised, guys. Don't come back and tell me, oh, this guy predicted the death of this president. I don't want to get into trouble, but yeah, I'm just basing it on statistics. So Robert Mugabe, Zimbabwean president, died on this day in 2019. So Robert Mugabe died September 6th, 2019. Who was Robert Mugabe? He was a former president of Zimbabwe, obviously a politician. He was the long-time ruler of Zimbabwe, first as prime minister from 1980 to 1987, then as president from 1987, check this out, to 2017. So he was president until his 93rd birthday. Well, on that note, I don't want to say much about this, about a lot of African leaders who refuse to leave their positions as, presidents. In some cases, they may have a good reason to stay in power because, some of them think that they're going to hand over power to someone who is going to destroy what they've built, would not carry on their legacy or would not help the people. But in most cases, it's just greed and fear, I guess, because they think that they're going to be victimized when they leave the office. Greed also, you see the sort of the wealth, humongous wealth that all these presidents acquire, and the vast majority of the people that they rule over live on less than $2 a day. It's just, it's sickening. It's sickening. I know you cannot solve everyone's problems, but at least, your time as leader, your time as president of your country, of your people, should be spent trying to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. I don't think anything else matters. You have to try and bridge the gap. You're not going to get every single poor person to become a middle class person, or even a working class person. But you have to try. You have to put yourself aside and focus on lifting the poorest of the poor out of poverty. That's a legacy that I think a president of any country in the world, should bring to the table. Okay, on that note, I'll end Today in History. Join me tomorrow for another edition of Today in History. My name again is Sotonia Fiersimama. Consider subscribing to this channel. Give me a thumbs up, share this video to your family and friends, and then when you subscribe, click on the notification bell. So that would enable YouTube let you know that I have published a video. So YouTube notifies you of my updates. Okay, I shall see you tomorrow, September 7th, for another interesting, hopefully, edition of Today in History. Bye-bye, stay safe, take care.